Hello and welcome to Map and Key Gaming's Halloween Spooktacular, where for the month of October we are focusing on games with spooky and larger-than-life characters. And today we are doing a spotlight on Sinbad from Unmatched. Sinbad comes from Unmatched, Battle of Legends Volume 1, and he comes with this pretty cool looking figure with the double swords. He also has a porter as a sidekick or confidant or servant, or I'm not exactly sure. They each come with a dial. Sinbad comes with 15 health, the porter comes with 6. And this is the back of his card art, which I think looks really cool with the swords coming out of there. So this is a spotlight. This is not a strategy guide. So we're not going to go over how to use him in different scenarios and stuff like that. All we're doing is, taking a look at the art on the cards, seeing what you use to play as him with, to see if he's a character that you'd be interested in playing as in Unmatched. And we're going to look at his cards and we're going to get an idea of how he plays. But we're not going to do anything in depth as far as, how to execute him versus different characters or anything like that. So with that being said, let's take a look at his character card. Now, Unmatched, a 2 to 4 player game that plays approximately 20 to 40 minutes and it's for ages 9 and up. It is published by Restoration Games and Mondo Games. So Sinbad here is a melee character who has 15 health. He has a movement of 2, and the porter down here is also a melee, and he has 6 health also. The main thing with Sinbad are his voyage cards. So his main mechanic, he doesn't change size. He's not a ranged character who's going to hit you, from different angles, across the board or anything like that. For him, everything revolves around the voyage cards. Down here, or here in the center, it says, when you maneuver, you may move your fighters plus 1 space for each voyage card in your discard pile. Sinbad has 7 voyages, so he has 7 voyage cards. Theoretically, you could, move, 9 spots if you played all of his voyage cards. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, that's a huge amount of movement. Absolutely huge. And with melee characters, space control, being able to get in close to do your hits, and positioning, that's super important. Let's take a look at his cards. We'll start with the common cards that are found in the other decks, and then we'll get into his more specific cards, and we can really see how, as a character, he comes together. So probably the most common card in Unmatched is Feint. You're going to find that in a number of decks. And Feint, it's a purple card, which means it can be used to attack or block. And then the number underneath it is for how much, and in this case it's 2. And then right underneath that it says any, so it can be used by Sinbad or the porter. So this card isn't specifically for either character. It has a boost number down here, which I don't think that affects any of his cards. Down here is the Feint ability, and the Feint ability is immediately cancel all effects on your opponent's card. So it pretty much shuts down anything that the opponent or your opponent was going to do. It's a very powerful card that is found in a lot of different characters' decks. Now the next card is Regroup. And this is probably the second most popular card. And Regroup, it's a purple card for any. And it says, after combat, draw 1 card. If you won the combat, draw 2 cards instead. Now, for Sinbad, that is really important because he is going to want to get to the voyage cards. He's going to want to get them played. He wants to get them played so he can get the extra movement. He wants to get them played so he can get the extra attack powers and the little bonuses and stuff. So for him, this is actually a pretty good card. Now, the next purple card for him and that's for 4, which is pretty big, is Exploit. After combat, draw a card. So again, we're staying with the theme of trying to get as many cards in Sinbad's hand as we possibly can. The next one here is Momentous Shift. Momentous Shift, during combat, if your fighter started this turn in a different space, this card's value is 5 instead. So this is a pretty cool card because this gives you a boost for doing movement. So for him closing the space, getting in close, he's going to get a little bit of a boost for that. And, you know, a 5, that's not something to sneeze at. That's a pretty decent sized card. And then his other purple card here is going to be Leap Away, and that is also for 4. Leap Away. After combat, if you won the combat, choose one of the fighters in the combat and move them up to 4 spaces. You know, this is board control, allowing you to manipulate your opponent, or it's getting free movement for yourself. That's huge. That's huge. You know, like I said, for melee characters, that's one of the most important things. Now, the only Porter card in Sinbad's deck is this attack here for 3, and attacks are red, and it's called By Fortune and Fate. After combat, draw 2 cards. So he's keeping up the theme of getting cards into Sinbad's hands so he can get to those voyage cards. Now Sinbad's purple card here, Toil and Danger, and it reads, after combat, move Sinbad up to 3 spaces. So again, it's going to give you more of that space control. Now, he has only 1 skirmish card. And when I say 1, I don't mean like in his entire deck. He only has 1 type of a skirmish card, and that's going to be the Riches Beyond Compare. And that's a straight up draw 3 cards. That is very, very good. Very, very powerful. Now, Sinbad's big damage card is going to be this one here, and it can be used by Sinbad or the Porter, but it's for 5 damage. After combat, draw a card, and it's called Commanding Impact. And now you're probably wondering, well, what's the whole big thing about all these voyages? Without further ado, here we go. First voyage here is going to be this one right here with, it looks like that's an elephant there, and it's called Voyage to the City of the King of Serendib. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce that. Anyway, the main component here on all of the voyage cards have, during combat, this card's value is +1 for each other voyage card in your discard pile. If this is your first voyage card that you're playing, only worth 2. If this is the 3rd one, then this is a 5. If this is the 4th one, you know, you're looking at hitting for 6. It's a very dynamic card. Now each voyage has its own after combat effect. In this case, for the king here, it says after combat, draw 1 card. Now on this one, the voyage to the cannibals with the root of madness, what are these names? You know, has the same thing, you know, the same during combat. But after combat, you may move Sinbad up to 2 spaces. So this is giving him that movement that melee characters need. This voyage here, Voyage of the Creature with Eyes Like Coals of Fire. Boy, very descriptive. After combat, your opponent discards 1 random card. And this one here, Voyage to the Island that was a whale. After combat, Sinbad recovers 2 health. The next one here, Voyage to the City of the Man-Eating Apes. Ooh, gorilla there. About to eat that ship. After combat, deal 2 damage to the opposing fighter. So this is actually really huge, because even if they block this card, they're still taking 2 damage. Super, super dynamic. And then there's this one here, Voyage of the Valley of the Giant Snakes, or Voyage to the Valley of the Giant Snakes. And that is, after combat, look at your opponent's hand. Now you can see how good these voyage cards are. They all do something different, but they slowly grow in strength. This is something really unique, specifically to him. But his most powerful card is this one, the Voyage Home. After combat, take all other voyage cards from your discard pile and add them to your hand. So congratulations, everything that you played, all of these, hitting for an extra 2, oh, gaining a little bit of life, oh, let me look at your hand, oh, discard a card at random, all of that. Hey, guess what? That's all coming back. And yeah, he's going to sacrifice a little bit of movement for that. Let's say you played 4 out of the 7 cards. That would mean he would have 6 movement. That's absolutely ridiculous. And that means that when you played those higher cards, you know, you were hitting for 5, for 6. But the funny thing is, you know, you play this card here, and then boom, you're going to do it to them again. There's no way. This is like a wave. It's like a giant wave coming at you. Now you see, you know, the different cards that he has. You kind of have an idea of how he plays. This is Sinbad from Unmatched, Battle of Legends Volume 1. So if you like this kind of content, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe down below. And I will have a link up here where you can click so that you can see other character spotlights that I've done for Unmatched. I've done quite a few characters now. I've done the characters for Battle of Legends Volume 1 and for Cobble and Fog, and I do have some more coming. Those videos will be in the coming weeks. Keep an eye out for that. And until next time, there's no place like home.